na de bro kwan a wonam so abefa so abedi ska na ye ba bedi hu komo majority of ye komo ni nyina about the kwan abefa so abedi ska na wonim se teams ni players omo sign na be kire se ampa wo diska koto mo ti omo sha na omo nche very 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 important the kind of pre-season games no omo born say club world cup no with me ka say European teams na ewo ni nyina as we speak born no mo born likely say no mo de be ko league nim so we analyze na first season start then you know say no team we consider goals bet me and that ba team we ma identify ba ku bi o Chelsea ho pa nya asem keto a say ye ntwa pa fouls committed enye easy me twama ayi Flamingo for no fouls committed 17 na ye 2 cities 30 pesos send nipa ne committed fouls na European teams no pure committed fouls pa Chelsea Caicedo ben wa obetwa Enzo Fernandez ben wa obetwa defenders no mo ben obi o betwa ti o mo committed fouls pa ti ni nyina pre-season we aniam a de be huhu se na be season start a ebe guide o na afi o yes selection na why then was selecting ni na bibia enso akoye e ho no show no live e wo my bet na watintem kakra na the Africa no e wo Facebook my bet na watintem kakra na the Africa no ubenya say you stream live on Facebook na fi ukọ street is watching and also ubenya ahwe na ABN Radio 1 enso wo Facebook and I call YouTuber my MYBET.AFRICA TV and that screen is so no one screen now MYBET.AFRICA TV and ubenya Facebook na be to me akonka na be a black market na koso no Telegram account no yes Sports Arena SPORTS Sports na watintem kakra ARENA Arena na ho na the code no ani bibia den eguni ade a fe TikTok so videos no twa good de anya asem keto akra yes sports.arena.news ewo TikTok obehu ye videos ni ade nyina ewo honom na bibia so atumi aden atumi akoye my bet na so ya sen de dwumadie bro she no so se my bet udi a ombetua ahin bia bedi bia my bet be den ebetua na before ombetua no kwa no omo send you message say asumesi why den wafa kakra na omo send you congratulations message ti ko na ko check ni wadi na waka ko check na fi bibia so no atumi aden akoye yenhwe my bet education kakra die na my bet wo de ma yen say yehu teams na omo qualified akọ quarter final stage no ene omo de kakra obi beto aso Inter Milan Fluminense mo bebo so na Real Madrid so na Juventus be den bebo and Al-Hilal na Man City so be den bebo first badge for na bo mo de Chelsea ne Benfica na sa game no anya asem keto akra ye be biebiem de achro Chelsea win 4-1 na denti na game na ye 1-0 obi anim say 1-0 aka 4 minutes ma yapon ye da sorry na fe 4-1 die ne si ye be chechirem de baaye afi bobo kwa ye frɛ no Bayern Munich enso ene bobo kwa friend Flamingo ebo 4-2 nyasem keto akra Hurricane Bogos no nyasem keto a saso na Palmeiras no echi Botafogo timu se nyasem keto mu ntwapa mu twa bruta Palmeiras for no ewini by 1-0 to say Chelsea ebe face bobo kwa friend Palmeiras ewo run off anasa ye quarter finals na fe bibia so no atumi den akoye nti matches na aka na ebe wura ni nyina mu na wo hu de ekọ ene de eba CONCACAF Gold Cup no so koso de Canada nkodi red card ma Guatemala for you ma from nyasam keto akra so na US enso no omo yi eye Costa Rica for so e de omo from a omo so e de bebani e wo no emu betumi ayede pa yan konsem ni mu na fe yan hwe ba before then ye be hwe say my bet e wo bibi e de my quarter final here money my mama akwaba
ya list o amjo so
bibi ay kama de
bibi ay kama
mu betumi abo ewremu de aman hwe my bet education na fe bibi aso etumi akoye
okay and Monday ya yewia we sports arena show you so the onim say my bet and I saw ya say the show ya bro nti ene say ope baby atwa bet afiska MYBET.AFRICA FIFA Club World Cup baby edu na no ayeden yewia quarter finals mu eko round of 16 games ti bi nso wo ha ebeko so na unze ewe mu say na esa na offer straight win any maybe win or draw any we friend is saying 1.5 ni we na ayeden because who nim the betimi esi because difficult matches eneba enu nti na my bet e the bet builder option aba nti ene ubetimi avoid this win or draw 1.5 ni na corners e wo ho yellow card wo ho fouls e wo ho o fair no am kwan bia so match bia yellow card beam match bia corner beam match bia fouls beam into with this bet builder options so betimi enye ska kakra 1.5 odds 2 odds 3 odds 5 odds betimi enya nti matches na aka no we MYBET.AFRICA see na bet builder try corners try bookings na try fouls na for this options if iska MYBET but so ba be ka ho a tie we register very simple be call www.MYBET.AFRICA top right corner be hu icon be circle ni green umia so a be hu registration wo ho umia so 3 steps first one phone number na mobile money number we use ubo shema the next one username betime use ufie din unique name din bia but time bia me ka have a number count say ne be man unique compared to omo ma register platform ni na so na fi de wabo password ubo password ni we na umia register ni so a send the verification code na chese wonso aba be come bet ebusua no try bet builder option your selections bet builder one game ubetimi nya 10 selections home into bookings ni bibia ubetimi aka ni na album na 10 selections usika ni mayedu na wonso wetimi afiska MYBET.AFRICA be ken busua no send a list o kan no udi bet na no ma send o message abon kae so usika bi wo mo na bra na beje en na chese omodwen ho nti ene MYBET na oni omunye adwuma.
Okay. Yensha air transfers. Chelsea are confirming 2 transfers this weekend. Who said, players I would want a movie. My brother friend Luis Diaz near Barcelona no, and also to say Nico Williams. The end also to say, yes, which Man United. Me know because John Evans, Omar appointing us head of loans and pathways and also over June I want the person much and I say the Jumane saying you be churchim Berechi Eze one aya Arsenal and Tottenham Hotspur at the same honum na the etine say yes Real Madrid for your margin say player when ninja no our person movie no oma open doors no e the amount say when ninja kwa dia ene bie bra na o be bie doors no enso atumi e the amount Dien na Joao Pedro ene Gettins omo e de ba aye Chelsea team no ye be hwe na fe bibia so no atumi akoyi e honum abrante e fe no Malik Tillman a movie from PSV Eindhoven a join e Bayer Leverkusen some good signings there e honum a eno so de e ho na medemano pate ye se ne na pate utumi say yes ne transfer no and then ebe ending with Arsenal any on extending the contract any idea nti mum yen hwe eye transfers no nti wi a na ya ba be hwe eye club world cup no
okay into we transfers any nyama ekokoso no ene hu say Arsenal omukofa Kepa afide omu hwe say omu de another center back nso be ka ho ene omewie mu with Eberechi Eze adenti Arsenal ni age Eberechi Eze transfer no ho say Crystal Palace no open say what pay Eze no or the bema 60 million na 60 million or bema 3 windows say fetua yinim say club bia especially Chelsea for when they introduces on long contract any we transfer windows on betimi dey tua say scan it and say Arsenal betimi nya Eze that means say on betimi etua that is 20 million across those 3 windows ninti on musika ebe call mo FFP books mu say this is insane no spending and Eberechi Eze sika ebe call no just 20 million. It's in common coso. In common they are no idea because Arsenal share player obabe a versatile player mom. Obetimi about all the wings. That is the left wing position, the right wing position. Obetimi about as the number 10. And now Odegaard the boy. Himself last season na Odegaard do baby performance not take Inti na omo hwe say ombenye obi obetimi aba be replace no. Inti ne Ezeba, that is the left wing, the right wing, the 10 position. Even sometimes so mo pobi ejina the number 9 position a Ezebetimi ejine mu e wo ho abo mo. Inti no transfer ni de egusu koso. Ene omo hwe se kwan bia so no betimi ato nyama yi ba Tottenham ensu techi hwe se Eze between Arsenal ni Eze se nyama ntimi anko senia personal terms ni ntimi anko yi a omuntu betimi remind so betimi aboska amanyama etimi akoyi a Tottenham omeni sanwo player friend Mohamed Kudus
yeah yebeko Tottenham ye hwe Eze to Arsenal what does it bring if Arsenal kwa kofanaba how different is he to those there already Trossard and Martinelli number 10 position they obviously Odegaard na dey ebo if only wa obetima be ejuma o honom but it appears that they are looking for somebody who can play as a left and who say when he goes to the three lion side as a
ball from the left
performance and as a game time or no a ball from that side what does it
yes Ushe easier and na me can say Oma Arsenal that versatility in a player because Arsenal last season Ushe players be set Trossard Utimibo across the front three Utimibo as a 9 Utimibo as a right wing Utimibo as a left wing but do baby a Trossard performance near on and off in the time Arsenal here Trossard say be obejinemu abon home in time maybe Saka and Martinelli ni hono ube say untimi imputi up that good performance no the number 10 role a position be na Arsenal le last season so mbetimi keep player friend Smith Rowe amanetimia aye Odegaard me fan say ne sap si bia Odegaard games bi o high for Odegaard nko na Smith Rowe etima baba na akwala ne so hwe say onu so be we club obenya full 90 minutes and enough game time abo nti Ezeba team no omo that versatility in that roles no their games are Arteta betimi akọ with a double 10 between Eze and Odegaard maybe about one holding player to be able to have that attacking strength no Eze senior kind England 3 Lions so bought from the left wing into from the left wing or very creative onim time obe arrive in the box onim time obe make that pass and obetimi ISR take ons o Arsenal left wing position na any Trossard any player friend we Martinelli and occupy those positions but so mo finishing a bigger problem at Arsenal team no Martinelli betimi take ons obetimi bibia but the final decision obe make it to get the ball into the post na man similar to Trossard into so munya Ezia who is a good finisher a good ball striker Adebako a ball mu team ni especially going forward but in him say Arsenal main problem this season striker and so mu team a good striker in the likes of maybe Victor Gyökeres and in the likes of Benjamin Sesko Eze Odegaard Saka Martinelli would be a good addition and help the striker thrive so well. Until Eze inclusion into the Arsenal setup. Financial wise, a boy Arsenal Sikano helpful and a payment plan is good. And he's a very quality player coming into this Arsenal setup. No, obetimi about a born home or the Abuamuye eho. With Tottenham any Mohamed Kudus. Sisi ani him said the conversation was about Chelsea between Joao Pedro and Mohamed Kudus. So be betimi afa back about Chelsea. But any conversation akọ enempo or any medicals Joao Pedro ebe joining Chelsea and until the line for Mohamed Kudus joining Chelsea very thin adinti makers and the transfer fee no 80 million and Chelsea so be another 80 million akọ player and yes maybe he's guaranteed a starting 11 into the team but bebe move to perform so betimi a putty up a good performance and on betimi right 11 first 11 80 million ya de ba akọ anu yedin but the Tottenham omo hwe mbemu deal no se ne ekọ na conversation in mbemu ni sikasem ne ade ba akọ emboom and ye hwe Man United in so ewem omenya 1 or 2 rejections on the offer ma present but still Man United dey push for that mbemu move into Tottenham eyomo concentration na ko player friend Mohamed Kudus se kwan bia so no betimi anya Mohamed Kudus aba into the team now Mohamed Kudus inclusion into the Tottenham setup a match made in heaven because that number 10 role that right wing role no those my friends Madison and Johnson occupy those roles, but also the level Mohamed Kudus Bema, the strength and in the box presenter or ahead of your friends Madison mo. He getting into this Tottenham setup, getting into the Champions League next season. After missing out for almost 2 years, it will be a good thing for him, especially for Ghana. Say in players name bought that top clubs, getting into the Champions League, Champions League football na bafem. And Thomas Partey free Arsenal means me bought 5 Ghanaian players that will be in the Champions League next season. So to me, Tottenham, he will be a good player in this Tottenham setup. Performance wise, I think Inyama betimia kuya mano with Thomas Frank, the way of a dynamic type of football or person the players taking on players Mohamed Kudus.
So does he see how does he see Kudus? If so Tottenham Hotspur, does it mean that Kudus is going to replace Mbeumo, or he will go like how
with Thomas Frank? He mostly likes to set up with a 4-3-3 formation, and now work out with a 4-2-2. Into any of this formation, Mohamed Kudus will fit in so well. So call with a 4-3-3, meaning that left wing, that right wing position, Mohamed Kudus a bit me ashamed. And now Thomas Frank in himself in the style of play, open the wingers not too close and be like tense until they will get into the box more. Saying that the likes of your friend Pedro Perumo and you Udogi mo I overlapping, until Kudus coming into that 10 role, and are playing as a left wing in the right wing. He can also play as a left wing. He can play as a striker. He can even play as a midfield or be arriving in the box as a 10 amount. It is all called with a 4-3-3 Mohamed Kudus with a 4-2-2 so as 2 strikers so you are the back because in him the way Otimi drive ball ni Otimi shoot ye Otimi arriving in the box the goal chance was through. So in these 2 formations at Thomas Frank Bono ni na fit Mohamed Kudus ye but in himself Tottenham edu baby the ambition of winning trophies and it's anya money of fame, especially as a young player no move ya Tottenham team way we say be winning trophy na beche. But I think with the mentality of Thomas Frank now they've tasted an European trophy, so now there will be the edge to earn more or to win more. Inti ababe ya deba ko bebo Mohamed Kudus ye but ni na abegina how Tottenham can negotiate with West Ham, because West Ham I imagine say 80 million no moji unya ready say obetimi aiden akwa players for Friday. That would be the only thing that best stop it, that transfer from delaying a bit. But I think he'll be a fine player for Thomas Frank and for Tottenham.
Okay.
Yemra Lyon, ye name himself by financially na nyama home. And they Paris Saint-Germain, it's me a good gesture, so bet me aboa Lyon. Ye name himself to Bracula if you're more. Now the signing on was 45 plus 5 million add-ons. Now 5 million add-ons, na komu says so mutimi ra in European competition final. And ne so mutimi jia. Then they add those 5 million into Sika Somoji, and the 45 was stretched in 3 payment structure. I Paris Saint-Germain to Abako, into Akasenka this season, no to a second one. Now next season, no more the 3rd one as so. But men who say Lyon and Yama Enkoye. So now, no my imagine say, Ompeso Mutua scanner canini na mom. Na itimi buom, including the add-ons, Na itimi buom more appeal or more ye. So mbetimia aka into the league, etimia solve financial issues no mbetimia. I think it's a good gesture. Last time we something like that happened, Bayern Munich, Dortmund in the 80s. Not Dortmund which in a year, so they had to come in, give them some money, and then Yama Mutimbo. And so who say player moving from Dortmund to Bayern Munich, because Oma created that good relationship on my boy and a Paris Saint-Germain, and so a room. So mbetimi to scanning na. I'm a Bracula transfer no send your team a friend Lyon e betimi dey come musika ho atoto omonyama ye send your most betimi aka Liga next season e put up a good performance. Yemra before ebeba the last way yemra you a club conversational weekend we already room which I think ade we ade ba ko ato aso ama you and club ye pa ohwe coach na he's very good tactically, systems or good be do baby an nkomo with the media na ade ba ko ameni nje ho ade nti ameka sa ne sempese virus ede neyi asemo kan ede to so na afide ma cheche mu kakra cha ahwefo mo hwe nti enei ni statement or kan second one no the statement or kan the FIFA Club World Cup is the worst idea ever implemented in football.
Nini say on say yebeba
FIFA Club World Cup no so okay tienre transfers no nti mamira João Pedro eni nim say ye bedi ne ho nkomo yie wo ha say Chelsea hwe so mbe ade a player na Chelsea adding of a player no ejina profile bisu na no mo hwe nti who say the likes of Ekitike, the likes of your friends saying Wadamiemu, they were looking at a player obetimi abo as a striker, obetimi abo as a 10 na oye good on the ball, oye obetimi press ye in half spaces, in tight spaces ne ho kire na obetimi move ball ni ye enu ntina na ye hu say João Pedro Chelsea at the 50 million akwa koma Brighton na obetimi transfer in tem na Chelsea fans be one because conversations between Brighton especially the opposite top player anu eden Brighton from be corner bra on face can be nka ho amu pese omuja ho no muni another club negotiate now at the amount transfer we a very easy match Chelsea say Newcastle remu say nko betimi nya João Pedro service no mu so share the same profile to Isaac say Isaac ni ho na Isaac form ne tia they will get that striker or that number 10 coming in on no betimi ama that ability of Isaac o share João Pedro any Isaac any maybe those ball playing strikers. João Pedro starting the ball one started as a striker. He was a winger. Otimibo as a 10. By any name the goal contributions are waiting me the amateur team a friend Brighton. And he's been classified as a number 9. Now he's a player inclusion into this Chelsea team. It raises a lot of question marks to some of the players in the Chelsea setup. 1, Christopher Nkunku. 2, João Felix. And Nicolas Jackson. These are 3 players. They are raising a lot of question marks on them with João Pedro's inclusion. And they or any medicals or China obe tu kwan ako or Brazil or any medicals or China obe tu kwan ako USA ako join the Chelsea squad no. In the Chelsea game omne Palmeiras bebo no. Okay. In the Chelsea game omne Palmeiras bebo no. He will be able to feature for Chelsea because Dan Bekan I say FIFA Club World Cup window na maybe 3rd July. Until 3rd July betimi add player bia unless say player na register e tournament ni mu deda into Gittins ontimi mbo ma Chelsea ontimi mbo e ma Chelsea João Pedro because onya any appearance in the tournament no obetimi ewe ma Chelsea ni Palmeiras maybe obetimi aba be a substitution obetimi abem adenti America say his transfer raise a lot of question marks ye name say Enzo Maresca coach bia waka say
question marks
for these 3 players
okay
ntimi be explaining adenti me feel say be raise a bit of question mark into Enzo Maresca MIS TAC free the start of the season so on the position be up to 2 players and a person squad near small to the extent say obetimi enya time at chrom there so chrom na bibia timi akoye into ene hwe that is the front 4 position e Chelsea memfa they said the striker the 10 and the 2 wingers players are na wo ho no their players are naturally they are getting into the starting team every week into the virus the better so ama me a picture no o hwe Chelsea front 4 now. The likes of Cole Palmer, Pedro Neto, and Nicolas Jackson, and Madueke. Na me fan say no munye bibo from the start of the season. No me ideal players and no murim. And they Chelsea ashe so mudi dilap abeka ho. Gittins abeka ho. Your friends say Estavio be abeka ho. Now for the João Pedro so abeka ho. So meaning say you are getting 8 players in those 4 positions. And one thing I'm say is a big question mark concerning Nkunku so betina Chelsea and so on tina and also João Felix enim say kwan bia so Chelsea bija ne kwan nti with these 4 players meaning say they have 4 even starting and 4 coming from the bench nti with senior game ne be start any Enzo Maresca style or be start it will depend these players 4 would be on the bench surely and 4 will start depending on senior person set up he can go into game 5 can even get to start and 3 will be on the bench depending on team obeshiano nti Nkunku as of now Chelsea ehwe na with Chelsea transfer say no mo ye no se players omo hiom no omo ko ekoto omo ntem no munya hu se squad na balance a omo feel say ye hiom biom na afede omo ato ombo ase aye den aton adenti ni se ompese obeton player bi at 60 million na afede okope another player ba be shema because smaller clubs na say wo koji 60 million wan tie say utimi man more into omo yo mo transfers in term after that na afidi omo can omo negotiate into enu nti na ehu se bedu baby the likes of bench wo mo Sterling mu na edu baby no mu ntimi ntom na so omo Cologne into bedu baby say the likes of Christian Nkunku So obi amba ho a ombetimi agya na mana Cologne age 5 million 10 million as loan fee. No ma prepare ye to let the player leave. But the player and transfer in HBB send you more target no obi ntimi mbefa. Inti Joao Pedro etimi ra Chelsea team no. O share ade or the ba Chelsea team ni mu ya.
No, yenjina with the positions in 2-2 near there.
Yes.
So yen started right wing.
Yes, from the right wing.
Right wing in one two players when occupy her.
So from the right wing no, the likes of Noni Madueke and the Estavio and that right wing position. And
now number 10
will depend right wing a lot also something to say there. It will depend on performance of Pedro Neto better than in this FIFA Club World Cup.
So no on the hand side, so the list number say.
Yeah.
Or two players with every position. So let's deal with the positions. Now right wing then why no?
That is Madueke and Estavio or right wing position.
Okay. Then left wing.
The left wing Nebenya that is Gittins and a Pedro Neto or left wing.
Pedro Neto.
Yes.
Then number 10.
Number 10 no, that is Ebema Okopama and Joao Pedro in that number 10 row.
But I said Joao Pedro did not acco.
There be Pedro Neto and our left wing.
Okay. All right. Okay. And now striking
in between Nicolas Jackson and Liam Delap.
So it means that 2 years plus Magui and
Christopher Nkuku. Yes.
But
the likes of Tariq George,
remember say so mo the or we say o ba solve
problem. More of a squad player.
Then what happened to
Dewsbury as a now on the club here, but to me, I think say he's a player. He's ready to be a squad player. And
but you need to look at say you have to register. Say how many players will register?
With the FIFA club, yes, with the FIFA club.
Now I'm talking about the league.
Okay, league registration the munyanye.
And I make say how many players will
register? That is 26, including the likes of Levi Cowell, the likes of Reece James,
so,
the likes
obviously
of
you
they can be registered as Team B players. Into me rather A list no.
Okay.
Because they are academy graduates. So some of the players can be registered as Team B players.
And so the rule is that you have 17. You need 17 foreign players.
Yes.
And the rest to 25.
Yes.
First 25
yes.
Must be homegrown.
Homegrown.
Lavia homegrown. The lab homegrown. Okay, so 17 players. I don't know. Maybe I'm putting on the spot.
So Premier League normally say players somebody from 25 years ago. Obviously register just 25.
Okay.
Then more years are below the academy. We do become a starting B players.
Okay.
So more age, was from they are all obviously registered.
Do you mean above 25?
No, from age
21.
Over 21 years going, obviously registered just 25.
Okay.
Including a year or non-homegrown for
yes, non-homegrown for me different.
17.
Yes.
17. Now 17 to a year 25 bear saying.
17 to 25. That will be 8 which.
8 no must be homegrown players or more above 25.
Yes. No, above 21.
Or above 21. Right. Then below 21 for no will be B.
Like B, yes.
Yes.
You know, me academy graduate and I say like players they will come in and go.
And
but for more below 21 area, we bet register on the 10 number.
Okay.
So more 21 years going. That is where you select the people are homegrown players, people are over 21 years. Now the matches are bracketing. That is the 25 players.
Okay.
But last season, I think Chelsea were working with just 25 players.
Yes.
Okay. And now it is clear somebody like Joao Felix will be out of the team.
Yeah.
The same as
Christopher
Nkuku and Magui.
Yes.
Or they can still keep Magui.
When Magui a bit dependent, if he wants to stay at Chelsea, any problem to keep him.
Okay.
Yes, but up a loan move, so they are ready to allow him to go on a loan mover. But it will depend on Nkunku. I don't think Nkunku would like to still stay coming into a World Cup season and World Cup Obaso. So I would be coming in for the likes of Kopama and Joao Pedro. Into Nobena Jane said he will surely move. Into any FIFA Club World Cup is putting in a good performance. Just to
that is it for him to stay now or cookie now?
No, I think it's just for him to leave. Because personally on him say he's not part of the team's plan.
And now man playing
Yes, yes. It's more of like, I mean, if I say, or the advert to get in clubs coming in.
Let me say this. Assuming say from the games now you who the impactor the last game mobile. Yeah. Now if the next game against Palmeiras, hat-trick, the following game, now it appears there's a new system. The new system is getting the best out of him. Will you keep him? Then maybe let somebody like maybe at Dewsbury Hall go. You don't know what Estavio is bringing on board. Estavio will need time. Obviously, with what I've seen, he will need time. Make to say, one week January make us on loan. The talent in there, no doubt. But it appears or no, he can be easily bullied. He can what they say. Unlike ABA Barcelona player no. Lamine Yama, what trick no to avoid even contact near there. But it appears we there is a lot of contact there. He can easily be bullied. He is very good, all right. But with the Premier League near there, and then we hype on the banner near there. He will need time to settle. Okay, let's move on. Now, Embra and Finfio. Yeah. And Finfio also no. How many players?
In Finfio, likely three. Yes.
3 then, almost replacement.
So 6 in total. Remember in Finfio, I'm back by Finfio 6. In Tiano Behu, Enzo Fernandez, Caicedo Lavia, Yebehu Andre Santos, Yebehu Insugu will come in. Then the last way, that is not Juice Brio, but Sisiano, if Senya O can say maybe if they are to keep in Kunku, and also depending on how he will set up going next season.
Because I've seen a lot of changes what
he's doing. He's playing. Yeah. Even in a game against your friend is saying Benfica, he went with 3 different systems during the game. Until Utimu said he's trying to change a lot. Until Infinio, Juice Brio's inclusion will be this is a player, he's ready for rotation, he's ready for being a squad player. He's not putting up Sobeko. I think any of them say he's at a club like Chelsea. So onim coach on any ejuma. So if offering any time to go in and do something, he'll go in and do. So me players are me because Didi Baby in media no or sign English. The likes of Badley Shemu, they are making sure that they are on the time of
now defense one the issue. Defense how many defenders?
Defenders
right back 2.
Yes. Left back
2.
Yes. And now center back 4. But as of now, I think Chelsea, me who say there are a lot of rumors going on. Say Fabrizio XTT say Kwame Biasun, there are a lot of additions coming in, and a lot of additions coming in. People try to almost center it on a goalkeeper and also a center back, which I think a Chelsea priority as of now. Okay,
so let's go into it. With the current winner one.
Yeah.
The right back, they say settled.
Yes, the right back is James and Malo Gusto.
James. Then the 2, the right centre back,
The right centre back, Nebenya Fafana and Chaluba.
Fafana. No, say 2.
You would remember say Fafana and Tosin.
Fafana and Tosin.
Yes.
Then the
left side, Nebenya Levi and that is badly share, and so I occupy the left side.
And I led
the left back and I see Cucurella pay. So that is where Chelsea needs to strengthen.
Okay, so then what it means is that defenders need to be another defenders need
Oshe as Omino. I don't think he would like to go on alone. Oshe a champion, he will be in the squad. There wouldn't be any problem. He will fit in when there is injury. Oshe Chaloba, he would also ready to stay and fit in when there is injury. But Oshe, the likes of Renato Vergamo, they are not part of the squad.
No go on
loan.
Okay.
It is Oshe, the only player I think in our centre back row, Ebia Chelsea Beton, A2, Disasi, and Renato Vega. These are 2 players and they would let them go.
All right.
And I'm looking at a left back as of now. One conversation that Chelsea needs to look at and bringing a left back to help Cucurella, because there are games as well, Obenji Cucurella, won't say champion or any other player goes into that role. The left back is a key role. Me who say there are rumors say Chelsea share Flamingo player friend Wesley.
So no a right back.
Yes, so a right back, but I don't see why they are bringing
just after the game.
Yes,
after
then
the
there were rumors.
Ntienra
João Pedro Mukaka. Now he's a player. He's coming into this 4 roles. Timiboniye, a striker, as a 10, as a left wing, and as a right wing. And the profile no they back into Chelsea now. Then Bedin Komo say is similar to Nicolas Jackson profile. No? He's good on the ball. The link-up play good in tight spaces. So bit me ball if you. And one thing he has ahead of Nicolas Jackson, Nyama ahead of Nicolas Jackson and Nyama he's good in the air, and also Ebane said shooting range he's very good. Okay. These are two things that he has ahead of Nicolas Jackson. Now he coming into the team, no, it will bring Adinti concerning players. I think there are a lot of question marks on their head. Maybe Nicolas Jackson count, even though say rumors are Chelsea are not looking at selling Nicolas Jackson out of the team, but then he coming in, no. Nicolas Jackson, depending on say profile, say or started the lap, so be bully defenders, be way. Now for the player coming in to draw and do that link up player, or between Nicolas Jackson and João Pedro, they give him the similar profile. But then I'm kind of João Pedro gives something ahead of player friend Nicolas Jackson. To mean him virus the data ne beto so na yakum. Now for the ama ashefo say adentia make us say. These are things that he does ahead of player friend Nicolas Jackson. Inti Oshe passes receive. Se player and be receive pass ni ye. Na ondo subo no waye we João Pedro last season El Brighton Oma 91.8, Nicolas Jackson Emma 50.6 ho. Inti ho no utwa Nicolas Jackson aerial ability about the aerial presence in the percentage level. Oma that is 76.9. Nicolas Jackson 54.9 non-penalty goals Nicolas Jackson 71 because no only penalty duties and João Pedro 33.3 ebano expected goals say player na ye bibi ne hwe say obetimi nya goals from Nicolas Jackson 87 na João Pedro 73 ebano passes into the box say you receive ball ne emfa ball ne share and emfa move your box João Pedro 91.0 na Jackson 94.9 Eban assist XG Omawo 82 just João Pedro na Nicolas Jackson 70 na Eban we attacking action João Pedro 83 na Nicolas Jackson 70 na Eban minute omo boy Jackson ball 2382 minutes Premier League last season and João Pedro about 2165 into these two players babe. The only thing that Nicolas Jackson did João Pedro in data expected goals, which I think and data a bit in the use to the IBB. Even though say at the end we are expecting the player to score the goal, but when Timmy and share expected goals near more of okay, there's a chance that Ezo Timisha win Timmy and share. But Osha, this is something that he beats Nicolas Jackson in everything. Send him a boss, no.
Don't you think they're very critical because Nicolas Jackson, himself. Scoring, putting the ball at the back of the net, and preventing it from being the best striker in the world.
No, but data-wise, BBH say João Pedro
is big. I didn't want. Now I'm
okay.
And sana now come up my building but you see, the virus bit my you look at the starter, especially that one. Sometimes when we are comparing players, you have to know what we need from Nicolas Jackson. And what Chelsea also need from João Pedro. Okay. You look at this, passes to the box. He named himself João Pedro this season. He has been playing as a second striker always. I don't know the ball. I did João Pedro is on the moment or drop it deep or check it style or drop it. So he playing he playing passes to the box. It's not something that we Chelsea the fans. We expecting Nicolas Jackson to be playing passes to the ball. He's the person I expect say Palmer money Enzo Fernandez more the passes better. Now. Expected assist. Obvious where Jackson is playing and where João Pedro is playing. Or be provided assist. Attacking actions. Passes received in the box. And I think is it expected goals? Expected assist. There was
expected assist. Any expected goals?
No, there was
non-penalty goals.
Non-penalty goals. Okay. This door. Last season in the Premier League. I think João Pedro bought 27 games. I stand to be corrected, but the games are. Jackson bought 30 games. So Jackson games, any João Pedro games. Jackson bought more games, not even more than 3 games. Now, João Pedro shared 10 goals. Jackson shared 10 goals. João Pedro shared 5 penalties. Out of the 10 goals, Oshama, Brentford. And Mr. Money Man can't say he's an upgrade in terms of goal scoring. Last season, out of the 27 goals, 27 games. Just one headed goal.
No share.
No share.
Okay.
So with this boy, he's versatile. He's coming in with a different profile. Obetimi Abu Jackson role. But the thing is, he's not an upgrade of what Chelsea say. Chelsea see Jackson. Okay,
I think that we shouldn't get it wrong here. We shouldn't get it wrong here. Joao Pedro is coming in as well a versatile player.
Yes.
I'll bet him about different roles. But as we speak, I'm not sure that he's the player. To say the lap, is okay. Now it is obvious that Chelsea want to solve the problem of goal scoring, which Jackson is not what provided, because Liam Delap game is centered on scoring goals.
Okay.
Right, I say. But it appears we need a player in the course of the season, because you see, Chelsea bought last season. It got to a point there were a lot of experiment in the course of the season. You don't do that.
Okay.
As a top team, you don't do experiment whilst league season the course. Chelsea did that because of situations somewhere the coach wanted to find solutions. So I feel this signings, to solve those problems now I encounter last season, because you see, yes, okay. Now Jackson, the up front near blunt. Okay, now yebo matcha na Sancho anyhow anyhow Mudrik anyhow, so it means that wing one be a right footer player. You have to use a left footer player to play as a when you coach in the system no. So also use Pedro Neto, also use Noni Madueke. When you have Joao Pedro, easy. He can simply go there and go and give you a perfect, more than the right footer player of the Wakobo.
Yeah.
Say Eban is a right holding in our be anyhow. You need somebody who bet my the game no is such that he can also play there. Eban number 10. Say okay, me number 10. Men pass the ball to the box. Ababe contents is here. Okay. I have situation I dire. Players be prepare. Situation I problem. Obi say Kopama is not there now. Kopama former ABB or Joao Pedro can come in and give you some creativity now where the me I feel class say second number 10 I say 2 number 10s no. He can even obey to my when
list to mame explain
replacement for Nkuku.
Mame explain
yes, because
mame explain identity and me compare Joao Pedro and Nicolas Jackson. We remember point on identity and me this comparison.
Okay.
Yes. Final passes are Vincent Ball, so say final passes no. One thing they say, if he plays as a second striker or as a striker, you need say every time you are playing your back against your opponent into o drop a bar, it's either you are receiving the ball and touching it and running, but the ability to turn and get the ball into the final pass in the ball na kokura box no, and a forward pass in the ball na kokura box no. But senior ubeji ball no finfin ono, you turn it into an attacking phase. So Usha Chelsea last 2 games on boy, Liam Delap, no receive ball na. He gets the ball to the wings or to maybe Kopama. In Chelsea last game on ball against Benfica, na Kwame Bisuno, Liam Delap was doing that, but na Kwame Bisuno mystery because these players don't really understand that Delap ball no J-ball no or release him no Ejane. Into almost slow down, especially Usha Delap runs baby he gets into the box, but almost slow because of they've played with a player like Nicolas Jackson. The ball may get into the final third, maybe you are only and won't mean converting. But with time you'll be able to get in. I didn't may compare these 2 players near Nyama say Joao Pedro wouldn't come into this Chelsea setup accepting say he'll be maybe a reference a debutant to Memphis say be a Kopama or maybe wait say position in that wings or no to me will be anyone no akwakobo. He's coming into the team to fight. And they Enzo Maresca the profile of striker or penal A2. One who will be a present in the box and one will be drop it deep to be able to play the ball. I didn't this conversation I'm raising, and I'm raising this conversation is based on one, what Nicholas Jackson brings to the Chelsea team. Sending our boss, you know. There've been times when you had a red card, he was on injury. Chelsea were struggling to get that player waiting me and drop your ball. If you have that profile in João Pedro, he would like to play him and Kopama to be able to see if you give him the same ability as Nicholas Jackson. And when I'm boss, you say he's on the same level. And yes, I make us say upgrade. Yes, he's an upgrade because Adia Jackson into me and no to me. Now, who make a statement say wash one header goal last season? A team like Brighton. How many times? And who's a Brighton air crosses into the box?
No, so
Meba.
You are saying in terms of
yes. Who explaining who there? Me explaining me there.
There's no facts to back whatever you were saying.
And I'm saying me explaining me there. So wait, let me explain. Me explaining how better here.
Me how the club is setting up.
Me mouth fact. There be oboa. Me mouth fact tie. On Brighton, Mitoma, Adingra, any Minty. These are players you don't see them crossing balls into the box. They always want to get into the box and shoot. Chelsea, the way Enzo Maresca set it up, it gives the wingers chance to cross box into the box. Instead because a player has a one header, but now because a delap was on share header goal this season, and ultimate on year upgrade to Nicholas Jackson.
Okay,
What I want you to understand.
They are not known for.
What I want you to understand is that me presenting you let's put that Nicholas Jackson feeling into change. What the team wants. In TNA, say as a player in his last 4 games for Chelsea, we have 2 yellow cards home. And this is something any coach in the world who hear players into a Premier League na kakakra no ya to first sport no, and you put up this is a player coming in onya a chance obebo. That's what I'm telling you. Say data wise he's better than Nicholas Jackson. So Okofa goes ni Nyamaba. These are 2 players playing in 2 different teams.
So why are you comparing them as well?
They are the same team.
That is the thing.
They are in the same team.
So these players basically how
Meba one year comparison between Thomas Partey and any Zubimendi. Aren't they playing in different leagues? Aren't they playing in different leagues?
Who care about team setup? And
team setup. Say Enzo Maresca, maybe say Enzo Maresca with that formation or against Flamengo with 2 tops, with Dilap, any Kopama and I tell you now. There's a better player to fit in. João Pedro. In the season, during the season, we'll be here to analyze Chelsea's game and we will see the truth.
Listen, one member transfer them more quickly. Now, remember some few signings Chelsea are the FIFA Club World Cup. Liverpool for officially Jadon Sancho let's say joining Liverpool. So right now they want a Branton at the McGree of Crystal Palace. And Russia, Liverpool for them, they know that currently if Van Dijk and Ibrahim Konate is playing now, they will need someone who is going to challenge both of these players, and they need a Premier League proven player. The last time it's not Mangui and say the kind of money Crystal Palace for the spending some amount, but then there's a club they've been able to separate Jadon Sancho to buy Liverpool's deal and Florian Wirtz to Liverpool deal separate. And they already count to Branton being at the Jeremy Frimpong. So selling Jadon Sancho for 30-something million plus euros and getting a brand to say Mangui for 50-60 will not be a bargain for Liverpool, but then there's an improvement on what this player ever. And reporting says Liverpool wants to use Abanton and Eddie Doc as part of the deal because Doc not a player. Crystal Palace wants to sign. He played on loan for Middlesbrough our championship last season, so he's a player Liverpool for your aware say Crystal Palace are interested and they will want to sign the boy. So and the young first can be the family Abanton and then finally Thomas Partey and Arsenal contract and I clear said Arsenal didn't want to extend the contract, but reporting just said from Mikel Arteta and the conversation when new sporting directors and owners in Harvey and he said he wanted to keep Thomas Partey because he believed that even if Zubimendi is coming in, because Norgard came into the picture, that is when the board and the people start who say we've been negotiating with Thomas Partey, the kind of money he wants to pay, you are not willing to pay, and age factor, you want to rebuild their midfield, the young funny formation. So Arteta wanted Thomas Partey to stay. And Arsenal for 4 years old, they don't need him. And that was when Norgard came into the picture. We should get someone waiting up in terms of stability, defensive stability, interceptions, and whatever Thomas Partey offers as a player. Waiting I am in a short while, then maybe can also fill in. Currently, I said Thomas Partey is not going to stay. He's also exploring his options, but then reporting said he might still stay in Europe. There's been offers from Italy, there's been offers from Spain. He might go and also join that team. And then a better check is to Arsenal and Tottenham Hotspur. I think that over the Premier League for the past 2 seasons, you cannot mention up to 5 or 7 wingers. They are productive, they are good in taking on, being creative, whatever we expected from a right winger. Eberechi is one of the players at least. I think that they've been consistent. They've been one of the players so far. The Premier League. So if he's going to Arsenal, would they compare Gabriel Martinelli? Any day I'll pick Abranta and Eberechi is ahead of Abranta and Gabriel Martinelli. So I think that Eze joining them. In fact, if they are still going to keep Trossard, they will need the numbers there because Akwakoye Claire said Sterling, who was giving them that squad depth in this season, is not going to stay there. And if you need someone, I'll person in the Premier League, you need someone who is tried and tested in the league, someone who knows the intensity because always be an Akwakoye, so Akwakoye player for him adapting to the league and also system now Bonnie idea but with the Brand and the average easy. If Bukayo Saka is flourishing or Arsenal setup, I think that he average easy can also flourish. And the United for the say almost a goalkeeper and they could coach in their base. Onana is free to leave either on loan and I clear say man next season Onana will not be imposed for Manchester United, but then they've been offered to Man United for Martinez as huge upgrade, and you see Martinez is also somebody he wants to leave Aston Villa. But the thing is he going to leaving Aston Villa to Man United surrounding the circumstance? But current transfer update by Manchester United for Martinez as an upgrade on Andre Onana, and they are exploring other factors, other instances. Everything on my sign is they are able to sign him. They see him as an upgrade on Andre Onana. Now, before I'm back to about Cup, Chelsea has actually completed, and they are on the verge of completing 2 transfers. And Jimmy Gittins transfer started even last, I think the January transfer window. Gittins, any boy now call Tottenham Hotspur. He's also Obama by Munich. Is it Matthias Tel? Yes. Yeah, Tel. Now, listen to Gittins about Chelsea. He's a boy that Chelsea wanted to complete that move before Arsenal and FIFA Club World Cup, but then the negotiation, how Chelsea wanted to get the deal done, agreement, and finally they've been able to get a boy. The boy, Chelsea might even sign him before that second transfer window of the FIFA Club World Cup, but he may not be able to play for Chelsea in the Club World Cup. But then the thing is, he will also join if Chelsea for sign out from the manager. He'll be with the team, but he won't play. But on the other hand, Obiti said drop and Chelsea wants him to join the team before June 4th for Omani team and the Palmeiras ever boy in the quarter final. Now, you look at Gittins. This is a boy at least last season for Borussia Dortmund, and he's not familiar. And that's on he's an England boy. In fact, he's played for Chelsea at the academy level before Wabeko Man City and then Wabeko Borussia Dortmund. And you said Dortmund for no the team more 30 players. When you buy, they will give you the potential, groom you, and they will sell you. So them selling Gittins and the news. Finally, they've been able to agree with Chelsea the amounts they want. 23 years, and the Chelsea have signed 7 years. The wages, he will fit into the Chelsea wage cap. And I want Chelsea fans they fall in love, and as I said, they fell in love with how women are rich, not running Chelsea. They should understand say things are not going to be the same. Because you do transfer windows there, and if Chelsea needed to sign a right winger, and you will hear the names like Obi say Rodrigo and on shadow in the future Barcelona. Do you hear the big names? Those days, and Chelsea, Tom Aluda, Didier Drogba, they were buying best players from this league, which is Michael Essien, Eden Hazard, best player, Liga, now Chelsea that Kofanaba. Those days, Michael Ballack, I mean, mention the names, a lot of, but then these were the time Chelsea had an owner, make I say, Oyeprimani. He's not doing the football for profit, but he's just doing the football to announce him and also announce the Russian oligarchs and how they do their things. So I don't know, he was doing the football, he wasn't or not yet professionally the business model, he was buying players, but he wasn't so much interested in the investments or anyhow he's going to profit. But then these football in these Americans, they are purely businessmen and they are investors are investing with team, they want to invest in the team also in something. So how they are running a more club and how Roman Average purely different. So we should expect some of the players I'm about Chelsea. We are not in team those them can Chelsea per striker. Can won't be Liam Delap. Osimhen and Jackra player no crowd show interest he wants to come to Chelsea. So with the Chelsea sign is on me and the Chelsea fans you know that there's a new ownership. The club look a new development style as a new dimensional club because of these things are things that is going to be happening. But getting to Chelsea last season, he scored 2 goals in all competition for Borussia Dortmund and provided 8 assists. But now to this season, Atlanta improved Ashe 12 goals and then he was provided 6 assists in that regard. In fact, in the Champions League, 14 games of Borussia Dortmund, he scored 4 crucial goals and then they were improving in terms of goal scoring. In fact, Pochake a year Euro wingers are they say take it on whenever they take on players their final release a creative chance and I result in the goal. We player nearly killing Mbappe in Europe. The player second to a year killing Mbappe a year Jimmy Gittins. Whenever he takes on, so what we are no what the attacking phase. Whenever he releases the ball, a creative chance and I say a result in the goal. 2 players on a second a year behind Kylian Mbappe. Now there is a picture of President Cavaras of Atusumami, a big 5 European leagues 2024-2025. He has Pedro Neto, he has Jimmy Gittins, and Noni Madueke and Jenny Sancho. In fact, it is comparing Gittins to Chelsea wingers for last season. Mafia Gittins, then also yellow be play in terms of goals per game. He's ahead of the Chelsea players in terms of assists. I think that Pedro Neto is ahead of him, but in terms of goals plus assists, in terms of expected assists, in terms of dribbles attempted, in terms of dribbles completed, take-ons with a goal hand. So I take on with a goal and or average 0.15 take-ons with assists, take-ons with shots. This is ahead of Niema at least you expect from a direct winger. No, in as much as which is a Chelsea winger, and Mikhailo Modric on suspended on camera, but then when you compare all the Chelsea wingers he's going to provide something I think it's watching. So Gittins coming to Chelsea is that direct style of winger now Chelsea needs, especially on a more identical state with Mikhailo Modric, more direct or taking on making yourself or beat me and a great chance and I wait to be their schedule. So with Gittins I think that Chelsea for a young man, he's not going to be new to Chelsea. He's an England boy in his quality, in his speed, he's not going to struggle, especially in the Premier League. Now, Chelsea are signed Abraham and Joao Pedro, and now Abraham flying to England. We'll be completing medicals, everything will be announced and now watching and then before July 3rd, Chelsea will hope that they will complete the transfer, then they will add the boy to a FIFA Club World Cup squad. Then you know on the 4th when they are playing Palmeiras in the quarterfinals, he can also be part of the squad. Now, Joao Pedro now is he's a player that I think I admire his progress from Watford, the Championship, or by to Chelsea, to Brighton, and he's been a player. In fact, Ucheke in the records so she especially the traditional big clubs England, Epiona, in fact, Chelsea, Arsenal, Goza. I mean, he's some player that he's been also, tormenting players. So also a player there, like I said, he's improving in terms of goal scoring. any how he's been playing. And all about Chelsea team, he offers a lot of things. In a virus day, normally the positions now Obono, CF, SS, AM, and LW. That is the positions this player over at Chelsea, where he can also operate from and also play for Chelsea. Until used to last season he played more as a centre forward and also as a second striker for Brighton Hove Albion. Left wing, one shot and born the left wing because of Mitoma, how important he is for Brighton, and also as an attacking midfielder. So what's your game now? Normally last season, always he plays with Dan Welbeck and as any other striker, and as Onumbo and the ball at the centre forward. He's a player that he offers you a lot as a striker. And Osha, we check Chelsea team now, especially with he say Christopher Nkunku by Chelsea. He said he likes to play as that hybrid number 10 second striker, to give him that free roll, pouncing on the loose balls, entering into the box and scoring money. And one thing I like about and he said inclusion in the box, or you play a beer, he's very dangerous in the box. He can win you penalties. Last season, ultimately winning as much as 3 penalties for Brighton and Hove Albion, and that is what the Chelsea strikers and more forward failed to do. And watch Joao Pedro in over 70 games, our body Brighton used to watch 30 goals. Okay. So watch him coming to Brighton, wherever he's playing from, his goals. Although he's been playing penalties though, but then if you have a player who can play a penalty, it's also an additional improvement for you as a team whenever you're attacking, because Joao Pedro out of 70 games was 30 goals at the Brighton. In terms of assists, he has also been providing assists. And Makase, who check it in numbers now, there are a lot of things that Obetimi offer to this Chelsea team, Nicolas Jackson offer. So there's a reason why I'm saying that he's not an upgrade to Nicolas Jackson, but he's coming in. This is a versatile player, and you see when you look at Chelsea sporting directors now, Joao Pedro coming in, I see him as a clear replacement for Abranta and Christopher Nkunku, because Ochake Chelsea game now, season Chelsea made him say 2 strikers in the name of Jackson Nkunku and even Magui as a 10th striker. So even if Jackson you have Obiti say Nkunku who can play as that false 9 in the amount. But Kwakwe said the coach didn't like Nkunku to be playing. I mean, anytime you are Jackson Nkunku, not the Magui and sometimes play.
I didn't say he realized that Nkunku was not ready to play.
Yes. And even this thing say, in as much as he kick a ball, your off ball runs, that is oppressing how they are very key to these coaches. But then Joao Pedro he plays under Brighton, a team more very high press. All these positions. Now, what the Chelsea signings now, mostly when they are going for some players, they look for players who make about several rules in terms of injuries, in terms of suspension. So, Joao Pedro coming to Chelsea, he's a man of all trade, but he's not an exceptional player. So, more 20 goals, 20 assists, but he's a player who can also add some value to his squad.
He's a good goal scorer,
yes,
to be honest.
Yes, and almost season watching more than 12 goals. So all more than 20 goals and yeah, expecting, because if goals are 12 goals Chelsea for the Comicans will say.
But if you look at the number of chances Chelsea create, if he's going to be the receiving end of these chances, he will score a lot of goals.
That is what I say. 70. 30
because there is
30 goals
out
of 70.
Minimum until the goal comparison. Chelsea Koto Nicolas Jackson. Chelsea Koto Nicolas Jackson.
I want to know.
Chelsea Koto Nicolas Jackson. No one shared 9 goals in a whole season. But Omuhu prospect. Omuhu BB.
So is it a player? I mean, fan say if he's getting at the end of the chances that Chelsea creates, no. Obey Mama of those goals.
He's a player that he's a good player.
Okay.
But Chelsea fans shouldn't expect over more 20 goals, over more 20 assists.
Why?
Because I feel like I don't give no one.
No, so I understand because you see,
so he's not
Kopama never gave about 25 goals.
Then when they were coming, Chelsea didn't have the expectation for them. That's what I'm telling you.
So you are not having the expectation for him.
That's what I'm saying.
Maybe question. the American say you know Joao Pedro Brighton every time behind as a Brighton war a striker, a standing striker as no yet more of
no but Welbeck
yeah as a second role, as a second choice, that kind of vibe, because even Sir player and I Chelsea player almost striker you feel Ireland Ferguson was playing, then maybe our Bema no best started no about you know. So on that as a first choice player, I build the team around him. Exactly, but I'm asking, sir,
this season,
if
this season, Brighton started season, no number 9.
And I will be
two injury. There be onya injury, or may say like 6-5 games, and I will back by being a good form.
They be back they say from last season. I know I'm offer another striker. Be so the number. Grutel was a Grutel or share or headed ball.
Om the bass on bebo 10. On Bible behind Joao Pedro. And now Joao Pedro the co injury.
But on mum 10.
On bass over bebo 10. On number 10.
Me person me who say, okay, is he good enough about? Is he good enough, sir? Sir, every hour Brighton will not create maybe a lot of chances, but at Chelsea will create a lot of chances. I'm saying, sir, if Chelsea create those chances, does he have the quality to convert those chances?
Of course, he
okay.
has that quality.
Okay, fair enough.
To the Chelsea fans, they shouldn't expect Obayama on the Diego Costa, but he's a player.
Why shouldn't they expect?
Who is going to? I mean, Mimi Hun is as an ideal replacement for Christopher Nkunku. And in fact, what you see the Chelsea squad now, he is not going to be a starter in the team currently with how I see the team. But with how at Chelsea, especially Chelsea has set up elbow in the games, especially holding one player at the width and not that player no over as a double number 8, that double number 10. He's going to be a player who can also fit in into that system, especially when you profile now Okita. So I think that these two signings are two good signings it's going to complement Chelsea almost season. That is only if the players from mobile they can adapt and do whatever the coach is. In fact, when check Chelsea, they've not been consistent enough, and the players almost sign up players young players. Some of them lack some experience. So to have a Chelsea this season, I can't on and off. Who said this is what they want to do? They have the quality, but for them to be consistent.
Joao Pedro, or how many years?
Why?
Joao Pedro, Joao Pedro. Okay.
Yeah. So to be consistent.
I know about England, I check.
Yes,
because we were playing for
Watford. Yeah.
I know about Brighton 2 years. So
okay. Experience.
So he has an experience. So all we need is our players. They will be consistent.
Okay.
So if Kopama is not there, you have Joao Pedro. Breaking the lines for you. If Jackson is not there, you have Liam Delap doing it. Gittins is not there. Another Joao Pedro beating 15.
Okay.
Yeah.
Young Club World Cup games, you know. Chelsea, Bob, Benfica, Inter Miami. First half 4-0, won to me on my back. Young Cameroon, share matches na kano.
Okay. Inti in Fifa Club
Bayern so we need.
Yes, Bayern so we need. We should Fifa Club World Cup games of course. So I think the round of 16 games next course and the results were results, and will be actually say this is something that will surely happen. With Palmeiras and Botafogo, sending a near church Moon said these are two teams Oma Bom who ye in the Brazilian league. But the performance wise Palmeiras won a name in the Brazilian league in Botafogo. But this competition who compare Mutua Omo Meshia higher opponent or good opponent Botafogo Abon Humodi against the likes of Paris Saint-Germain. So it was a game I knew that the game would stretch because we didn't see a lot of goals or minimum and time ago in the extra time. I think Palmeiras Abon Humodi in the group nobody was even giving them the chance to even get through and they omit me real quarterfinal. So here Chelsea in Benfica, it was a good game, very good game for Chelsea. One thing me pay about this Chelsea structure or this Chelsea setup, and they say they didn't give Benfica chance, like the opportunity to create a lot of chances. Benfica a team here this season.
Yeah, we creating a lot of chances. They score a lot of goals.
They score a lot of goals, and say off stop them from creating a lot of goals, a lot of chances to goals. Now it gets into they are creating chances to get crucial set pieces around your box or penalties into the box. Into this season, FIFA Club World Cup team winning penalties by Benfica 4.
Okay.
Di Maria chef for no leading goal king away. So Chelsea any Enzo Maresca who side there. So anytime the ball is in their half, omo person omo pinium no omo winning ball ni wo ansana and drop into the Chelsea half. I think the lineup, the setup, everything was good. The only issue I'm aware was sending a boss, you know, Liam Delap, a lot of link up plays, no it me moving them, but it's something omni start ball, and this is just 2 games away to me rating. So they weren't able to find him on those little runs. I think a bit me I then afa. But Pedro Neto in this competition performance, wada ne di pa. We who say the likes of Estavio Moba. So if he wants to get that right wing position sealed, that tournament winners or done in the link up play, dropping back to defend. Ushe in the game in the way 118 minutes. Now still Pedro Neto track it back to be able to defend and receive ball. I think that is one thing Enzo Maresca and Badley shares inclusion into the setup. Chelsea call with a back three, they are all good on the ball playing wise. In Tenunti, they were very comfortable to distribute the ball and move the ball. I think Maresca HM something different. You will see a lot of we align Chelsea team in a 3-4-3 formation.
We know Kopama was playing from there.
Yes. So I didn't know and say Kopama will come in and play in those half spaces, and then Cucurella will overlap.
Okay.
And him say sometime a boss idea to say I was looking at say Estavio bar. We could see Estavio coming in those half spaces, and maybe the likes of Rhys James or Gusto overlap, depending on team no setup any the way or person. Into a Amayati I say, and yet just his players inverting, but his fullback can overlap. Now the winger not dropping as a 10, but I think the Gittins bar wouldn't see Cucurella overlapping more because Gittins likes to touch the line. Maybe we'll see Estavio coming in and the likes of Rhys James more overlapping. It was a good game, good results in the second half. Though say game needs a slow down for 2 hours. Normal say team beba into the game. I finish so muhiti about it was Nyama Koye. Paris Saint-Germain in Inter Miami. There's one game I must study Inter Miami win this competition. They play their games mostly in the second half. It's not Paris Saint-Germain person Kuma. It was in the first half for Multimission 4. So in the second half, the likes of Lionel Messi, Luis Suarez moved back into the game, making sure say they wouldn't concede any more goals in the second half. But this game was a walk home for Paris Saint-Germain. They are tough opponent to be Bayern Munich. The likes of Olise Mo and Hurricane. Where Flamingo against Bayern Munich, it was a good game. It was a good game. Beyond Shesa game, beyond highlights and a full game. You could see a team attacking. Flamingo, Felipe Luis, I wouldn't be surprised in the next year or 2 years he'll be in Europe, coaching one big club in Europe. Formation wise, the way of setting the team or limitimo. In dual share goals are Bayern Munich share. Three of the 2 goals were deflections. It was just one, and a true
3 of the
4 goals were deflection. It was just one, and a true pass. And it was a defensive error. A Hurricane receive here, so you could see said they were setting up to make sure say the likes of Hurricane and Olise Munyom good game. But a deflection and own goals you can't predict. So I think it was a good game. My Mira and the games are canon. Inter Milan and a Fluminense game, I think it would be a good game. One thing a Fluminense had that they do a tournament to say so on to me Shawa on Pesa on Susheno. So they've had 2 games about 0-0 draws against Dortmund and Mamelodi Sundowns. So this will be a difficult game for Inter Milan. Tournament with Inter Milan in Yan who especially with goal scoring, almost break and some match goal. So this game any more said to get into an extra time because both teams defensively are solid. Inter Milan is once a goal scoring about be a big problem for them. So it will be something they would find difficulties doing. Real Madrid and Juventus will be a very good game for Xabi Alonso. I think about at the right time, Amano.
Okay.
Because in the first 2 games, or call with a 4-3-3. In this last game, no try send them. I mean, call with a 3 back or a 3-5-2. Now, I mean, the way I call. And with a 3-5-2, it's me call ye man. So against Juventus, we see a high team pressing the Juventus setup. Into who the likes of Kylian Mbappe coming in with Vinicius Junior up front. I think I'm seeing the Quine Bia, so he'll try and fit in Gonzalo Gracia into the game. I will see how he'll play him and how the boy will fit. But this will be a game Juventus are very strong, but no, they can't get closer to this Real Madrid setup.
Okay.
Inti mami mira me betting.
No, we are. I ain't sure any day.
Okay.
Yeah. Used to. I mean, Chelsea game. I said that game at the back where I see game. You started 28th near year 20. I mean, 4 hours 38 minutes. Yeah, a lot of people are talking about. So, with whatever happens in the FIFA list, almost say, I'm more maybe a Chelsea game. mom free 4 tickets. My mom was a Bank of America Stadium. Will be a free 4 tickets for more patients and then train your man give me calls or free tickets. So meeting Inter Milan and Fluminense again because that is they believe that people who bought that ticket, people that lives closer to the vicinity. But then the man gave me stop here and said they were reporting just a light in be happening in our vicinity. So they had to stop first, especially for the safety of the players. You say the Ham said 4 minutes into the game. Moment game they stop here, but then I will be the same person if they had the caution, if they had the report, and on command stop it game prior to that 4 minutes, and can be CA, and we will still be the same people and can be caution. So me, I don't have anything, just that it's quite unfortunate. The time now, Bobo at this time, and it's also going to serve as a lesson to work on for next year World Cup because it's the same. Some say and I'm prepare say the bottom. So these are things that a bit in a boy. Now, virus and first formation into Somami Chelsea lineup and Sobekaya last week. Me babe explaining Manchester City for how they set up and mostly especially teams as I say that possessive high pressing football. Always when they attack they love to have 5 men and at least 4 players at the back. That is when combo high press football. So the moment to lose ball, they will want to get more numbers at the back and also more numbers. The washer into my risk about Chelsea. Now I clear on the whole, the right back and then the full back and the right back. They be better one day to get numbers. But you see, when he came to Chelsea, because of the brilliance of two defensive midfielders at Chelsea and how Lavia won the ball and how Caicedo won the ball, he likes the Obetima ball start to play now. So if you have Lavia and Caicedo at the same game, you do not need your fullback to do the inversion for you. Now, this is how Chelsea is set up game. And they team it's a PSG, especially no game no share PSG and then you proud to the season. They always have a player holding the weight, and that is Vicha Kvaratskhelia. Or no who do weight now. So anytime we are PSG set up, the last time I know you can't say when they are setting up, especially Nuno Mendes, Ekapacho, and then Marquinhos also at the base, then Vitinha and then Joao Neves and I say that is if we beko Hakimi beko then Vitinha and then Joao Neves in back bench now. That is if the Spanish guy Fabio Ruiz beko anyone, these two players will sit in front of that players. But then no again there are other instances when they are attacking they need full force. Someone say they are Vicha Kvaratskhelia and number 9 the over force and I'm attacking, but they will need someone to enter into create overload there. So what's the Vitinha? No catch there. Nuno Mendes Uncle then Vitinha will occupy that space, especially against Inter Miami, especially in the first 10 minutes. It happened 5 times. Omoji bono possess ya na se mo person create overload. The boss Vitinha catch here. Nuno Mendes Uncle then Vitinha will occupy that space. Then they will still have Fabian Ruiz anyway too for them to run in behind. So always Hakimi in there or no echo inside or no body weight. So PSG so and now with Man City, Macho said this season you will see a brand and the Nuri occupying that weight, and also Nunes now or no about the right back or no be back inside. Now with Chelsea there are games there was a Pedro Neto Bomehede. They hold the weight. That was our previous game before this one. Neto hold the weight that Palmer any Enzo Mon and then this side. But now this is a lineup Chelsea was a very great moment I can see. Chelsea played by their shell, the first one by their shell, any Abrante and the Cowell as the centre backs, and no ball James as the right back, and Abrante and Marco Cucurella as the left back. This game he didn't need none of the players doing the match, so this is how Chelsea is setting up. So Akpakwe said either Cucurella will go, then James will sit at the back, then the two defensive midfielders Ebe Germany. So we still have our 5 men at the back. And we have our 5 men in front. Now, each of us has an air start. Especially a game against Benfica. First 20 minutes and first 15 minutes. Nanka Cucurella, if 2 goals or 2 assists, I won't be surprised. Because that overload that Chelsea created on with Kopama, because Akpakwe said when Chelsea is playing, Kopama and a jewel on the team. The team thereby, we have to stop Kopama. Now, Kopama and Nabok ultimately draw 2 or 3 players. So when Kopama is playing that Uma Cucurella ebe holding weight now, it means that obe create space never be that house space never be that a brand and Cucurella. But this is situation whereby if Chelsea have a winger, I'll bet my hold with now. Chelsea will not even play Cucurella. Obetimako with just one DM. With James and Cucurella can do that inversion. You still have your 5 men at the back and have more attacking players in front of the play. Then virus of first second one to swim. If Chelsea ekitabone they attack here. The reason why Chelsea coach maybe who is a down road if we have that Lampard time with James or fit. And you say now the Chelsea management and technical team are trying to manage the game time in terms of the injuries and Kadaro now Cucurella one. You bet smash it about the right side. And he will be effective. Because now if it was with James and then that was Saturday with James then now Cucurella first 20 minutes now James at least you will be leading. Until Wabekaya those days and Chelsea Bwana James they overlapping more on that 3-back system. James was having that goals, especially under Thomas Tuchel. But then we still have Cucurella doing that. Now this is how Chelsea set it up. Palmer on Fifi, Enzo Fernandez on Fifi. They have Pedro Neto also holding the weight at that side. Neto don't know who do weight on that side, but at the left side, that was where Chelsea were creating the overload and players also attacking the area house spaces. And what he had no again, the lap was always leaning to the left side. Against Benfica was always leading to the left side. So with this lineup, and I said with how PH set it up and how PH set it up, Chelsea they not more like a Man City. Man City not I do maybe a Neto a holding weight. That is where they will create the overload. But with Chelsea here, Pedro Neto a holding weight now. They are creating the overload at where someone attacking the half spaces. Now listen, if Chelsea gets his airborne, I think that they can also improve and the variations of it. And the sign is not more. Me, I'm happy for Obi to say Enzo Maresca.
But you see, also we money in the other things he's doing.
Yes.
Because previous winner boy and then proving Obi who say even you not have Romeo Lavia, Caicedo, Rich James and Enzo Fernandez in one setup.
This lineup.
This setup, is trying to bring all of them in.
Always last season, especially the first game against Liverpool. And the big games.
Yeah, it was like this.
Not a person ball Lavia any Caicedo. But how are they attacking? They different.
Yeah.
They player back who hold it with.
Not two players and they hold it with.
Now, with how he's playing,
we're back open the hold it. Then the variation.
To have variation to get numbers across everyone on the pitch. Now, so Cucurella and Beboa, so Webo Lavia any Caicedo. It means that one of the fullback no back with the center backs no man my 3 at the back, then will be a 3-4-2 situation.
3-2-4
especially whenever Obebo Caicedo and Lavia. But I said, yeah, 4-2-2 because Lavia and Caicedo Enzo
Palmer.
Then the lap and then that winger now hold it with. So with this, I think that it's whenever Chelsea ball against one of the big clubs and the big clubs, the traditional big 6 clubs now, both Enzo and Caicedo, you will see more of this. But situation whereby you go with one, that is where the right back or the left back, ever that invention, they will have the wingers holding the weight as how upon last season. Now, especially in this formation. I think
this formation will do well in Europe.
Yes.
In Europe, because in Europe you get a lot of stability.
I don't know. Involve I think Joao Pedro in it. How Joao Pedro beats me. Sir, this is it. You see, Chelsea were Fofana, Kovo, and Cucurella.
That one they can afford to do that.
You can afford.
Yeah, Chelsea can afford to do this.
International say if we want to use regimes at that side, you make criteria.
So this is the opposite of.
Yes, this is the opposite. Maybe then they say regimes, what's the intensity of Cucurella or Koban? Regimes won't mean yes,
hopefully, if they will test it, obviously at some point you need to test and see.
That is the reason why they don't want to do. It's a very common like Casamia, Cucurella, Fofana, and Koro at the base. Solid. You have Caicedo and Enzo. That is if you are not playing against that big club, Professor both Lavia and Caicedo, and you drop Enzo Fernandez back. You have Jimmy Gittins, you have Rich James, you have Kopama, you have Joao Pedro, you have Lam Delap or Nicolas Jackson. At this time, you have as much as 5 players. Bako Obetima taking on Obetima creating chance. You have another player playing as that hybrid number 10. Honestly, deadly. You have Cole Palmer, arguably one of the best creative players, one of the best scorers in the league. You have regimes that obey more for that cross, but Eban is saying now it means that the left-footed players, the wingers, into what Chelsea set up now. Say Eban the left sider, say Eban attacking half spacing for the left side. It means that right-footed wingers no ball from that left wing, you know. Back to that bench. If you best started from the right side, it means Anderson regimes will attack here. One of the wingers also bet on bench, and they back on how and Chelsea bought last season now. Both wingers holding the waiter. It means that Chelsea, Joao Pedro, and all these players can do. So I think that I'm happy with how they are doing. But Pedro Neto, he's having a fantastic season, especially in the Chelsea. 18 goals and assists on the first season at Chelsea. Arguably, Chelsea best winger this season. So on the club world, in fact, when you have a club world cup in the club world cup list to was 3 goals, and he's one of the best players in the tournament so far. 300 minutes played, 3 goals, 7 shots, or 93.1 pass accuracy, successful passes, duels won, 8 chances in the list of accuracy, and out of almost less than 15 dribbles or attempted, waiting 8 successful dribbles. He's having a fantastic season.
Okay.
Finally, Chelsea are booking the spots. The quarterfinals.
So yeah.
We are expecting say Chelsea beat me. According then he will send additional 50 million to the account. So the quarterfinals, Palmeiras, Chelsea, Paris Saint-Germain, and Bayern Munich. I confirm. I'm not many. Nkosi Ochina Biani. Who Chelsea will be playing. That is if they are able with another quarterfinal setup. Or the Chelsea route, and also another quarter-final setup.
Okay.
PSG and the Bayern Munich so more route.
Yeah, moment share also enough.
Okay, my name all time the match for 5.36 Inter Milan and Feminese game no mo be born bet builder. Send me boss no my bet for a minus option into no na measure. Inter Milan straight win under 2.5 goals and over 3.5 bookings and a second half 0.5. Code no R2PY MYBET.AFRICA.
Yes, so my selection for the day Man City Al Hilal game me call a 3 belt builder selections. A straight win for Manchester City, over 2.5 goals in that game, and over 9.5 corners in that game. And then a Inter Milan and a Fluminense game me call for a straight win for Inter Milan. A 5 odds. Code no L2PY.
Right, yeah, media no mon join me or a Telegram account on afi me fa bibia antum mama na bibia ankoye. Na me adom o tena e be sa ba na afi dia kamu ni nyina ye dia bremo yakram.